Welcome, I am the 9mm Atheist. Today's episode, I want to talk about meeting new people as a truck driver, something I commonly get a chance to do, being, driving all over the place. I get to meet new and interesting people all the time. Before I get started on that though, I want to give kind of a disclaimer as to why I haven't had a video in a while. I'm going through some pretty serious personal shit currently in my life. It doesn't appear like it's going to resolve itself anytime soon. It's just going to stay complicated and stressful, and I'm going to have to deal with that. So the number of my videos is going to suffer for it, because honestly I've been really stressed, and I haven't really just felt passionate enough about doing it, that I've kind of gotten slack ass and lazy with it. And all the things I'm dealing with in my personal life are kind of those are the things that are affecting my drive to do these videos. So just anybody who's following me or watching this video know that my videos are going to be few and far between, probably from this moment for a while. I don't see my personal issues being resolved anytime soon. They're going to be there no matter what. Due to circumstances in my life. So, just letting everybody know. Aside from that, I want to talk about, so I'm a truck driver. I get to meet new people all the time. And it was last week or the week before, I think, I had the pleasure of meeting a very lovely young woman, very well-spoken, very chipper attitude, fun person to be around. And she's a Christian, a very avid Christian, not a church-going Christian, but a very avid Christian. And any atheist who's watching this video is going to understand this. Any theist that's watching this video is going to, I don't know what you're going to think, if you're going to agree with my perspective on this, or if you're going to agree with her perspective on this. It's going to vary person to person. I tried to avoid the conversation of religion with her, with this individual woman that I met, because sometimes it's just nice to get to know good people without getting into all of that. And it's nice to maintain those friendships and all that stuff. Well, and I did warn her, because she was very open about who she is as a person, and she told me outright, well, I'm a Christian. And I was like, well, you're probably not going to like me here after a few minutes, because I'm a pretty avid militant and atheist activist. And she said, that's totally fine, it's totally okay. And she was very sweet and nice about it, respectful. But I think we'd known each other for about probably a week, 2 weeks now. I think it'd be about just close to 2 weeks now. And last week she called me, or was it earlier this week? Maybe I've only known her a week, and she called me. She called me and we had a conversation. We were just talking about truck driving, and she was in Pennsylvania and I was Nebraska, I think. And we were just talking, and eventually it just led to this personal relationship that she has with God, and how she talks to God and God talks to her. And God told her that there's something wrong with my blood, that she doesn't know exactly what it is, but that God is purifying me of it. Now, I didn't want to be rude, and I didn't really want to get into the religious discussion with her, but she said this like 4 or 5 times to me over the course of the week that we knew each other. And that night, I guess I just didn't have the patience to listen to it. And I told her, well, it's pretty convenient that God told you I had a blood disorder and then cured it with absolutely no evidence of whether or not I actually had a blood disorder, because I haven't been to a doctor in a little while yet. I mean, I got appointments coming up in November, I think, but yeah, I mean, it's really easy to sit there and claim that somebody's sick and that they've been healed before they knew they were sick. Like, that's just so ridiculous to me. And I told her that, like, that just makes no sense at all. I don't believe what you're saying. I tried to be as polite as I could about it. And that pulled us, that literally, like gravity, yanked us into the conversation of religion and of belief in God. And I think it's pretty common, debate point for atheists, the slavery and the racism and the rape and all the other shit that goes on in the Bible. And so I kind of stuck with those points. And I told her that I've read the Bible multiple times, and I have. I haven't read it in several years now because I can't fucking read the first chapter without nearly falling asleep. But I was reading it, or I told her I had read it, and that, we have like Leviticus and Exodus and all the shit in the Old Testament that's woefully fucking immoral, and that the Bible condones things like sexism and racism and slavery and rape. And she's like, wait, where the Bible does it condone racism or slavery, she said. So I went on my tablet and I brought up Exodus 21, and I read through Exodus 21, and I told her that this is the rules given to man, laid down by man, in regards to owning slaves, to owning other human beings. And the justifications for this that came out of this woman's mouth were astonishing. Truly shocking to me. Because she tried to sit there and say, well, you're an employee and you have an employer. And that was that version of that back in those days. And I was like, no, it wasn't. They had a work system where people worked and made money back in those days. Slavery was a totally separate thing. And it was, the apologetics that she used are very common. I think almost every atheist who debates or talks about this shit has heard those same debate points, but I never honestly expected it to come from a girl that was as nice and as sweet as she is. I don't really honestly know what I expected, but it just astonished the hell out of me. And since then, she has not contacted me, and I'm not. I want to give her time to kind of like, because shit got pretty intense. Because she doesn't think I'm an atheist. She told me outright that my eyes tell her that I believe in God, and that I'm not an atheist. Well, fuck yeah, I am. There is no God. Period. And until evidence is brought forth to absolutely, irrefutably prove the existence of God, I'm going to maintain my position that there is no God. But it was just, she was so sweet, but yet all of her intent, I think all of her intentions were good, but like they say, good intentions pave the road to hell. She was very condescending. At the same time, she was being very sweet. And I asked her several questions because I was trying to understand why people believe, why she believes in what she believes in. And so I asked her, is God all-knowing? She said yes. Is God all-powerful? She said yes. So I went into, why didn't God just not give us sin to begin with? Because he gave you a choice. Because you have free will. Because he gave you... Okay, so I have free will and I have a choice because he says I do. Wrong. First off, that's not how free will works. Second off, if God says you have two options, you can go to heaven or hell, and I say I don't want to go to hell, but God sends me to hell anyway, that's his choice. That is God's choice to do that. So that's so ridiculous, you know, from the get-go. And she found apologetics for everything, and she just worked herself backwards into circles and repeated herself and then contradicted herself. It's so frustrating to me that such a wonderful person, somebody who could potentially have so much to offer to humanity, would require a belief in something so dark and evil and twisted. We talked about infanticide and genocide in the name of God and done by God in the Bible and everything. I went through almost every argument there was to be had. And a lot of the apologetics regarding the Bible was her apologetics were, well, that's just the way they were back then. Come on. Really? Are you serious? That's not how that works. If the Bible is the unerrant, perfect Word of God, then it cannot, one, be reinterpreted or interpreted differently. What is written is what is written, period, end of story. Two, if God is perfect and inerrant, why did he fuck up so many times? When he first created mankind, he found that he didn't like his creation, so he wiped him out with a flood. Well, God fucked up then. That was God's fucking mistake. So God's not perfect. He's full of imperfections. He doesn't know all things, because if he had known all things, he would have known that the creation he made would have made him unhappy, so he wouldn't have created it the way he did the first time. Secondly, God knows all things. Why go through the process of the whole Jesus thing? Like, why do that? All-knowing, all-powerful means that, one, you can create us without sin. You can change your own fucking rules. You can change your own rules so that your creation isn't sinning. So then the need for hell isn't necessary. I don't know. I'm just tired. I'm tired of the rant right now, so I'm done with this video. But comments, questions, like, share, subscribe. You guys know the drill. Talk to you later.